I'm starting this video over. In my healing work, I've gotten to channel people who've passed, and I've channeled at least 2 younger males that have passed from drug overdoses, both accidental, not suicidal. One was heroin and one was fentanyl. And I only have, 7, 8 houses on my road, and 2 houses, 2 houses have lost young white males to heroin. Okay. So I understand that most people don't have the experience of seeing the aftermath of drugs, and I understand that if you don't have an experience with someone close to you that's passed, or someone that's close to you that's lost someone, I think it's easy for the ego to say, well, that would never happen to me, so I don't need to worry about that, and it's somebody else's problem. And that's not wrong. That's not wrong. It's not. I'm not saying everybody needs to care the same amount. But I just want to do a video about this to help anyone who has maybe lost someone. Both the deaths that I've channeled, at least 2. I'm sure there's more, but at least 2 that I recall easily. Both young, both accidental overdoses. Okay, so just did a healing on one of them, well, on the mother of one of them, the fentanyl person. And after he passed, her energy was going down to him. So he had passed, but she was sending so much. She's a very loving person. I don't know if she prays, but her energy was going to him like prayer. And so he, in the healing, he said, he acknowledged that he was allowing and taking his mom, not taking her energy in a bad way, but like respectfully, lovingly, gratefully receiving energy from her. And he told me that he was going to be working on himself in spirit. Going to do a life review and all that, and then he was going to work on pulling her up. Okay, so in the first healing on her, with him in it, he showed me, I'm really dragging my mother down. I'm really pulling my mother's energy down. But it's not always going to be like this. His plan was to rise up like a helium balloon and then pull her up. Okay, so then she had the second healing last week, February 6th, and that shift had happened. So now he's energetically pulling her up. And so this is, I wrote down some stuff. No one's ever gone. He says no one's ever gone. Cry as much as you can. Cry as much as you need to, because you need to clear. The 2 oils that came up for her were, well, 3 oils really. Helichrysum, doTERRA. I only use doTERRA. So the oils that came up for this specific mother who lost her son: Helichrysum, Elevation, Purify. Oh, and then Rose. 2 drops of Rose. So I made her a blend. Helichrysum, Elevation, Purify, and then 2 drops of Rose. And then the mental story playing in her head, but in her whole energy field, was, I need to know he's okay for me to be okay. I need to know that he's okay for me to be okay. Attachment, ego, pain, and resistance. So the ego, the ego always says some form of, I can't be happy or okay now. I can't be happy now. I can't be okay now. So some form, and it gets pretty clever, especially as you start to learn and you start to feel your way forward spiritually, and you realize like the should, could, would, the shoulda, coulda statements create pain through resistance. So there's a lot of people that are aware that they don't want to make shoulda, coulda, woulda statements. So they catch them, they catch those, and they stop it. But the ego is clever. The ego gets clever and finds another way to say, I can't be happy now, or I can't be okay now because. So hers was, I need to know he's okay for me to be okay. I need to know he's okay. And of course he's okay. And everything is this way. The first person who ever passed that I ever heard from said it to me like this. I'll tell this story another time. If it's not okay, it will be okay. So if it's not okay, it will be okay. So that helped me get through. When I was worried about my mother dying, I physically collapsed. Twice it happened, actually. Once in front of a elevator in the hospital, and that's where I heard this person tell me it's gonna be okay, and I said she's gonna live, and he said, oh God. And he said, if it's not okay, it will be okay. So anyway, so what this healing client's son was expressing was basically like this: Mom, now we have the opportunity to experience our relationship, like our relationship, very, very underlined, like a different way. And he was like, you don't have to do my laundry, you don't have to feed me, you don't have to buy me presents. So basically he was coming through saying, we have this opportunity, and he wanted her to see it as this incredible opportunity where they continue their relationship, mother-son, but the son is in spirit. So he said, so victim is the story on the physical plane. So victim is the story on the physical plane, but spiritually, because this is a spiritual person and she's going to get even more spiritual. So the more spiritual she gets, the more she raises her vibration, becomes more and more spiritually aware, the more I believe I could teach her to hear her son. I think that I can. That remains to be seen. But she has to release the physical plane victim story in order to use her energy and her focus, her awareness of the spiritual relationship that's still in existence, with the soul playing the role of her son rather than her son. This story just popped into my head. When my son was in kindergarten, we had all these animals, and we had just lost a rabbit during the summer. We had like 4 dogs, chickens, geese, turkeys, ducks, a gecko. We had all these animals, and they asked how many animals. He had to list his animals in kindergarten, and he said we have 2 rabbits, Lucky Henry and Lazy Sally. One's alive and one's dead. So, and I feel like I was meant to have a 3rd child, which never came. Multiple tries didn't come, and I still feel that I can speak with him. He's in spirit, and we're good. We have I still kind of feel him sometimes, not very often, but sometimes. Anyway, so just because somebody passed doesn't mean your relationship's over. It just shifted. And for some people, the relationship when they're passed can be much, much better. So this kid, I call him a kid because he's early 20s. He's very excited about the shift in his relationship with his mother. Like, he wants her to get excited, even though he validates and he says, I know, like, it would be unreasonable to ask you to be super psyched that I'm gone. That's unreasonable. That's out of the question. So in validating the pain though, Mom, I really want you to look forward to and to really see and understand that there was so much of your energy going towards worrying about me, worrying about what happening. So you had all this energy going towards worrying about me dying, worrying about something bad happening to me, and it did. And so now, moving forward, your worst fear happened, okay? So now, here's where we are. But our relationship is not over. So there's a big shift where all that energy of worry that happened while I was alive is now, moot. So you can ground that. And now, these are the words, and I don't know what this sounds like to you people, but, the words from him are, please get excited about the new way we can experience our relationship while I'm in spirit, while you're still alive, you're still in physical life. Yeah. He really wants her to get excited. Let me just see if he's got anything else. He says drugs are a really big deal, and most people they really don't understand how devastating the effects are, not just to the person who's gone, and not just to the people they leave behind, but there's people involved in drug stuff that are also involved in other stuff that's, I feel like, worse than drugs, but he's not telling me what it is. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, it has to do with, like, I feel like child trafficking stuff. It feels like drugging, dark stuff. So now I'm just going to ask him, what does he want me to say? Okay. So his advice for whoever's listening to this is live your own life, like race your own race, it feels like stay in your lane, kind of. Don't compare yourself to anyone. This is a waste. Comparing yourself to anyone and then using the comparison to look back on your own life and like feel bad or feel like a loser or feel like less, or less than. He's like, people think they know what it's like to be someone else in their life, but no one ever knows. So I feel like he had a high degree of looking like he was fine, but he wasn't fine. You basically, you just never know what someone else is going through. So really, stay in your own lane, race your own race, live your own life, but be gentle with each other. Please be gentle with each other. You just never know what someone's going through. He makes me feel like people are really seeing things so small. He's like, not that it's like, not that everybody's depressed, but like when you are depressed, your world is teeny tiny. Your world is just this little box around your head. And he says, like from where he sees now, he's looking at us like people are like intentionally making their world so small. They're thinking so small, and they're well, all right. So this is just an example. Like mothers, running their kids around, and then drinking wine every night, and just busy. I don't know if they're on like Facebook or Instagram or all these like, yeah, it feels like social media and like, I got to get back to this person. I got to get back to that person. Texting too much and like overstimulate, like screen. I gotta, there's this real pressure about, I gotta text this person back. I gotta put this somewhere. I gotta answer this email or this text. There's all this like, and it's so small. And then when they do take a break from that, it's like they're watching TV and they're drinking, or we're not picking on mothers at all. He just says, like, from where he's like, no one's really doing anything. No one's really doing anything. Of value. No one's doing anything to enrich their lives, it seems like. For the most part, people are just connected to a device. If it's not the computer at work, it's the phone, and if it's not that, it's the computer at home. Ugh. Okay. Anything else? So, just be aware that your life is going, aware that you're, but minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, your life is going. Are you just kind of doing like slow donuts in a parking lot? Maybe that's fun for you, but he's not preachy at all. It's just kind of like, are you sure that you're doing what you really want to do? Are you sure that you're doing what you really want with the time that you have? Are you sure? Just keep asking, is this what I really want to be doing right now? Is this really what I want to do? It's very cool. All right. I guess that's it. Love you. Love you.